Congratulations! The Hajj is yours. The pilgrimage to Mecca every able Muslim must make once in a lifetime. You can't lock the doors like a cathedral or open a gift shop. It's 5 days in the desert, nearly 1.7 million people on foot, on a fixed schedule, packed into a few square miles. If something goes wrong, those lives are in your hands. Behind that postcard image, 1 million people in white circling the Kaaba, the cube-shaped shrine, sits a 40-year-old formula that decides who gets in. The same journey is priced worldwide. One person pays $3,000, another over $8,000. Last year, extreme heat killed over 1,300 pilgrims. Most of them people your own official system never counted. Before you spend a single dollar, let's see what the people actually running this place are doing today. Money isn't your first problem. Simple math is. The official numbers from Saudi Arabia's Statistics Authority show 1,673,000 pilgrims in 2025. 90% of them came from outside the country. And they didn't arrive slowly over a summer. They came in a single packed block of about 5 days. They all do the exact same movements in extreme heat. Then they leave. Picture the entire population of a major city showing up on foot, all at once. They all walk the same roads toward the same tents. That gives you an idea of what you just inherited. And the calendar is not on your side either. The Hajj follows the lunar year. That year moves 11 days earlier each time. Right now it falls in the warm months. Soon it will land permanently in the hottest part of summer. The number of pilgrims keeps climbing. The tent cities, the cooling systems, the metro lines, they cost tens of billions of dollars to build and run. And the Saudi state does not pay that bill for free. So you need to handle a crowd that arrives on a very tight schedule. But here is the first hidden part that decides who even gets through the door. It was written in 1987. You might think anyone can just buy a ticket. In reality, a 40-year-old political formula sets the number of pilgrims each country can send. And that shortage is the foundation of the whole economic machine you are now holding. Entry to the Hajj is limited by nationality. Back in 1987, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation set a rule. Every Muslim-majority country, and other countries with many Muslims, gets one pilgrim spot for every 1,000 Muslims in its population. That 1 per 1,000 formula is still the main limit. Indonesia, the largest Muslim country, gets about 221,000 spots. Pakistan gets about 179,000. India gets 170,000. These are not tickets Saudi Arabia sells directly. The kingdom gives each government a block of visas. Each government then divides them up internally. They use lotteries, Hajj boards, and licensed agencies. Far more people want to go than spots exist. In some countries, the wait lasts for years. Picture a lottery drum in a government office in Dhaka, Bangladesh's capital. It spins with slips of paper. The papers hold the names of people who have waited 10 years for the chance to complete a sacred duty. That is the real doorway, a zero-sum limit, a limit where the total cannot grow, set nearly 40 years ago. Without it, the pricing that follows could not work. But a quota spot is just a permission slip. To actually get into Mecca, you need a package. That is where your passport becomes a price tag. Every pilgrim must buy a state-approved bundle. It covers the visa, transport, housing, and religious guidance. The cost of that bundle changes a lot depending on which country you are from. Same 5 days, same tents, same ceremonies, very different prices. If you book from Indonesia, a government-supported package costs about $3,400. Pakistan, about $3,800. A basic package from the United States costs about $8,600. A full UK package can cost from $12,000 to $18,000. Get this, 2 pilgrims book on the same day. One is in Jakarta, the other in Chicago. They see completely different totals on their phones. Every package includes a Saudi government fee. The price of devotion is set by your passport, and the state collects that fee. And this is not an open market. It is a closed loop. Almost all Hajj registration now flows through Nusuk. That is the Saudi Ministry of Hajj's single digital platform. It has 51 million users across more than 120 countries. You cannot just fly to Jeddah, the main entry city for pilgrims, and figure it out. The visa is tied to the package. The money flows through Saudi licensed providers. It goes straight into hotels, transport, and government fees. It is a multi-billion-dollar system. Every pilgrim's spending is already planned before they leave home. So you have a quotas and packages machine that brings in billions. But here's the part nobody sees from the outside. The Saudi government is running this like a business growth plan. The Hajj and its smaller year-round version, Umrah, are a central part of Vision 2030. That is the big push to expand the economy beyond oil. The state tracks pilgrim numbers like a company tracks its sales goal. Every mega project is an investment meant to hit those numbers. Combined Hajj and Umrah revenue is somewhere between $12 billion and $30 billion a year. Hajj alone brings in an estimated $11 billion. Vision 2030's official target is 30 million Umrah visitors by the end of this decade. 2024 already reached nearly 17 million, about halfway. If they reach 30 million, the combined revenue could hit $50 billion a year. and the money spent to chase those targets is huge. One phase of the Grand Mosque expansion alone cost over $10 billion. The Grand Mosque is the large complex that holds the Kaaba. A new metro expansion is budgeted at $16.5 billion. These are costs the state chooses to pay. They are money used to buy more space. More space lets in more pilgrims. More pilgrims bring in more revenue. The sacred journey is a national growth area. The concrete pouring out around the mosque is a bet on more people. So far, you have inherited a human tidal wave. You have a 1987 limit that decides who gets in. You have a global price ladder, and a government that treats devotion like a growth target. But none of that money, none of those quotas explains the tent city that had to be rebuilt from ash, or a bridge where past deadly crowd rushes killed pilgrims. Remember, all that revenue, every dollar of that $12 to $30 billion a year has one purpose. It exists to stop the people coming through your gates from dying. And now we reach the cost no information booklet ever shows you: what happens when the machine fails. Take a look at Mina. It is the valley where pilgrims camp for the Hajj's stoning ceremony. They throw stones at pillars. It is not just a field. It is a purpose-built city of over 100,000 tents. The reason it is made of fire-resistant material is written in the names of 340 dead. In 1997, a fire swept through the cotton tents. The flames spread so fast through the crowded camp that more than 340 people were killed. The response was total. Saudi Arabia completely destroyed the entire campsite. They rebuilt it from the ground up. Now it has permanent tents coated in a fire-resistant material. It is a fire-safe city spread across about 20 square kilometers. Each tent is 8 meters by 8. They are grouped by nationality with color-coded signs. There are shared kitchens and washing blocks. It can hold up to 3 million pilgrims. It stands empty for 358 days a year. Every one of those 100,000 white tents remembers the past. The city exists so a fire never kills that many again. You can rebuild after a fire, but the next disaster is a moving crowd. It has happened again and again. It happens right at the point where millions of people try to throw stones at 3 pillars. The Jamarat Bridge became a place where people died again and again. The original bridge was built in 1963. It repeatedly failed under huge crowd pressure. 1994, more than 270 dead. 1998, 118. 2001, 2003, 2004. The death count kept climbing. Then 2006, 346 dead. After that disaster, the construction firm Saudi Bin Laden Group completely rebuilt the bridge. Engineers from Dar al-Handasa helped. They got advice from Keith Still, a top crowd science expert. They replaced tight pillars with wider, longer walls. They added multiple levels, ramps, tunnels, emergency exits. Still estimated the new bridge could handle up to 600,000 people per hour, 3 times the old bridge. But he also warned publicly that this would not remove the danger. It would simply push the pressure to other narrow points. The problem didn't disappear, it moved. And Keith Still was right. 8 years after the bridge was redesigned, the crowd pressure found a new weak point. The death toll became a political crisis. On September 24, 2015, 2 large groups of pilgrims met at a different narrow point in Mina. It was not on the bridge itself. A deadly crowd rush was triggered. The Saudi government announced 769 dead, but journalists and news agencies adding up reports from pilgrims' home countries arrived at much higher numbers. The Associated Press counted at least 2,411. The French news agency Agence France-Presse counted 2,236. Reuters counted over 2,000. A total of national reports placed the toll at over 2,400 dead, with hundreds still missing. Iran, for its own political reasons, claimed up to 7,500. No fully independent investigation was ever carried out. The true scale of the loss remains unknown. The rebuilt bridge did not solve the crowd problems. It just changed the location of the next one. And people are still arguing over the death toll nearly 10 years later. The 2015 crush was a failure of crowd movement, but the next killer is simpler and much harder to fix, and it does not kill at random. It kills the people the system was built to keep out. In June 2024, an extreme hot period hit the Hajj. Temperatures reached 125 degrees Fahrenheit inside the Grand Mosque in Mecca. At least 1,301 pilgrims died. The official cause is the heat, but the hidden killer is the quota system itself. Nearly 83% of the dead were unauthorized pilgrims. These were people who had gone around the official visa and package system. That meant they had no access to air-conditioned rest tents, no organized water stations, no transport with cooling. They walked for hours in the baking heat. Meanwhile, registered pilgrims and the ones inside the system went into tents and collected cold water bottles. The Egyptian numbers tell the story clearly. Of Egypt's 672 dead, all but 31 were unauthorized. Indonesia lost 234, Jordan 99, India 98. The same quota that limits access, the same package economy that charges $3,400 or $8,600, acts as a real safety filter. The money you collect directly funds the systems that keep people alive. And the people locked out of that system are the first to die. Egypt took away the licenses of 16 travel agencies for helping illegal travel. Tunisia's president fired the religious affairs minister, but the machine had already done its sorting. On your watch, the wristband, the official ID bracelet given to registered pilgrims, is not just a ticket. It is a survival device. So the machine works for those inside it. But the more dangerous question is whether the machine itself can survive what is coming. You have rebuilt after fires and crowd crushes. You are spending billions on a bigger metro and cooling systems. But the lunar calendar is pushing the Hajj into the hottest months for the next several years. And climate change is only pushing temperatures higher. The one threat you can't solve by building more might beat every investment. Saudi Arabia is betting on huge infrastructure to make up for it. The Mecca metro expansion is a $16.5 billion program, $8 billion just for Phase 1. The existing metro line already moves 72,000 passengers per hour. It handles over 2 million trips in a single week. The plan is to grow it massively, but the contradiction is obvious. The more pilgrims you attract to hit that $50 billion revenue target, the more people you must protect from deadly heat. And the unauthorized ones, the ones your own quota system refuses to count, will keep coming. They will walk next to the shiny driverless train tracks in 122-degree heat. They will be unable to board, just as the 2024 dead walked past the air-conditioned tents they could not enter. The growth plan and the safety needs are heading for a crash, and the sun does not negotiate. So that is your Hajj, a sacred journey run through a 1987 nationality limit that controls who gets in. A worldwide package economy where the same 5-day ceremony cost one pilgrim $3,400 or $8,600, depending on where they were born. A state that treats those billions as a growth target, racing toward $50 billion a year. A landscape built on disasters, fire-safe tent cities, a bridge rebuilt 6 times over the dead, and a climate threat killed over 1,300 people just last year. Almost all of them were the ones your quota system locked out of the safety net. The Hajj is not a ceremony that accidentally makes money. It is a sacred duty. It's wrapped inside a huge, expensive, and delicate safety and revenue machine. Every dollar and every quota spot is a decision about who goes home alive. Now you know why they treat it like a logistics company, one that happens to have a prayer schedule. Take notes, not because the calendar is not waiting,